All right, everybody, welcome into the first Red Roofing podcast. Tonight, we're going to talk about understanding your insurance claim. Don't leave money on the table. Understanding your roofing insurance claim. Welcome into the Red Roofing podcast. I'm Ryan with Red Roofing, co-founder of Red Roofing and Leach and Brown Construction. And today we're going to talk about something that confuses a lot of homeowners: insurance claims after storm damage. If you've ever had hail or wind damage, you've probably wondered, am I getting paid enough? Why does my insurance estimate seem so low? And what is recoverable depreciation? Today we're going to break it all down in plain English. So let's get started. How the insurance process works. First, let's start with what happens after a storm. You notice damage. Or maybe a contractor noticed damages and knocks on your door and tells you of damage, and you file a claim with your insurance company. The insurance company sends an adjuster to inspect your home. They look at the damage and write what's called a scope of work, which is simply a list of what they believe needs to be repaired or replaced. Then they assign prices to those items using estimating software. Many homeowners assume that's the final number. In reality, it's just the starting point. So why is the first estimate isn't always complete? Insurance adjusters are human, simple. They only have so much time at each property, and sometimes damage or necessary work is overlooked. We regularly see things like missing drip edge, missing starter shingles, missing ventilation, underestimated labor, sheeting that wasn't included, flashing that was omitted, gutters or siding left off, interior damage that was overlooked. That doesn't necessarily mean anyone is doing something wrong. It simply means the estimate may need to be supplemented. So your next question is, what is a supplement? A supplement is simply additional documentation showing work that is required to restore your home properly. Think of it this way. If you took your truck to the body shop after an accident, they might discover additional damage after taking it apart. The body shop submits a supplement. Roofing and construction work exactly the same. Insurance companies review supplements every day. They're a normal part of the claim process. So what is ACV versus RCV? Now, let's talk about two terms every homeowner should understand. Actual cash value, ACV. This is usually the first check you receive. The insurance company subtracts depreciation based on the age and condition of your roof. Replacement cost value, RCV, this is what it costs actually to replace your roof or the damages. Once the work is completed and documentation is submitted, most replacement cost policies release the recoverable depreciation. That's why your first check usually isn't your last check. So what is recoverable depreciation? This confuses almost everyone. It's taken me 15 years of working in the construction industry to figure this out myself. Let's say your roof costs $12,000 to replace, $20,000 to replace. The insurance company might initially send $12,000 after your deductible, and they hold back $8,000 in depreciation. Once your roof is completed and invoiced, they release that $8,000. That's called recoverable depreciation. The goal is to restore your property, not simply give you a cash payment. So basically what happens is they give you $12,000, which is what the actual cash value is, but then there's recoverable depreciation. So your value of your roof is $20,000, but they're only going to give you $12,000, and if you don't fix the roof, you're not going to get the $8,000. If you fix your roof, you'll get the $8,000. That's the recoverable depreciation. And many homeowners don't realize this, and what'll happen is a homeowner will get a check for the $12,000, and then they'll call around and get 3 or 4 estimates and find somebody that's low enough to do it for the $12,000. Well, what do you get when someone does it for the $12,000? You don't get the greatest quality roof. You don't get the good quality shingles that you had on there before. You get somebody that's doing it with cheap materials, cheap labor, cutting corners and you spent the $12,000 and you didn't get the other $8,000. So the goal is to restore your property, not simply give you a cash payment. Do you have to accept the insurance estimate? No. You're allowed to choose your own contractor. That contractor can work directly with your insurance company to make sure everything necessary is included. A good contractor doesn't just replace shingles. They understand building codes, manufacturer installation requirements, and what it takes to restore your home correctly. You know, many contractors will rip off the shingles and leave the felt paper and all that and just put shingles back on. And that's not, your manufacturer warranty is very important. And most manufacturer warranties require that you use, in order to have their warranty, you have to use accessories of the same brand. So using Owens Corning shingles and an off-brand felt paper and an off-brand starter strip and an off-brand ice and water shield will sometimes not be allowable on your warranty. So cheapest isn't always cheapest. One of the biggest mistakes that homeowners make is choosing the lowest estimate. Sometimes a low bid means materials were left out, ventilation wasn't included, flashing isn't replaced, ice and water shield isn't installed where required, and corners get cut. A roof is something you hope to rely on for decades, and it's worth making sure it's installed correctly the first time. Indiana does not have a code for ice and water shield, but in my opinion, it should very well be. Ice and water shield should be installed at the starter, at all the rakes and eaves of the house, in the valleys of the house, because we get ice damming in southern Indiana. We get ice damming, and without ice and water, you're going to leak. So, questions that every homeowner should ask when meeting with a roofing contractor. Ask them if they're licensed and insured. Ask them if they'll meet with the adjuster. That's a very important thing, is to make sure your contractor works with the adjuster, and ask them if they will submit supplements for you if needed. And then ask them also, do you use manufacturer approved installation methods? Many manufacturers have an installation method sheet that the contractor has to go by on how to install their product correctly. And then ask about their warranty for workmanship. That's very important as well. I mean, a workmanship warranty means that they cover their labor, they cover what they do, not just the manufacturer's warranty. And ask them if they'll communicate with your insurance company. If a contractor can't clearly answer those questions, that's something to think about. So our philosophy at Red Roofing, our goal isn't to pressure anyone. We believe homeowners deserve education before they make decisions. We'll inspect your roof, explain what we find, answer your questions, and work with your insurance company when storm damage is covered. Whether you choose us or someone else, we simply want homeowners to understand the process so they can make informed decisions. We're not pressuring you. We're not going to have you sign a contingency form saying that if we get on your roof, you have to agree to work with us. And if you sign one of those with another contractor, you're not obligated. You're not obligated at all. They're not going to take you to court. And if they do, I don't think a judge would ever allow them to do that. That's pressure. At Red Roofing, we don't pressure. So insurance claims can feel overwhelming, but they don't have to be. The more you understand about supplements, depreciation, and the claims process, the better equipped you'll be to protect one of your biggest investments, your home. If you've recently experienced storm damage or simply have questions about your roof, we'd be happy to help. Thank you for listening to the Red Roofing Podcast. We'll see you next time, and until then, stay safe and protect what matters most.